Today, Christopher Wren's Royal Hospital is one of London's best-known landmarks. But what is perhaps not so well known is that the hospital once had as a neighbour one of the capital's great places of entertainment, the Ranelagh Pleasure Gardens. They took their name from Richard Jones, 1st Earl of Ranelagh, who was appointed Paymaster General of the Royal Hospital in 1685. Ranelagh was a thoroughly unscrupulous individual, and he managed to siphon off enough money to build himself a large mansion in the hospital grounds. Eventually, Ranelagh's financial misdeeds caught up with him, and he was dismissed for fraud. But the house and the grounds around it remained in his family's hands until 1733, when they were finally sold to a consortium headed by James Lacey, a co-owner of the Drury Lane Theatre. With James Robinson, a politician and architect who would become Ranelagh's first manager taking a leading role, Lacey and his shareholders set about turning the grounds into a pleasure garden to rival Vauxhall Gardens just across the Thames. Finally, in 1742, their gardens opened. Admission cost £1, half a day's pay for a labourer at the time. In the evening, when the wealthier customers tended to arrive, it cost £0.50, though tea and coffee was included. Visitors could admire a variety of gardens, promenade down tree-lined avenues, stroll round an ornamental canal, and marvel at Ranelagh's pièce de résistance, its famous rotunda. Designed by William Jones, who modelled it on the Pantheon in Rome, this huge wooden structure measured a remarkable 185 feet in diameter and 80 feet in height. If the rotunda's exterior was impressive, its interior was nothing short of breathtaking. In 1742, a French visitor wrote,
"Into this enchanted palace we entered. I, for my part, found myself dumb with surprise and astonishment. In the middle of a vast amphitheatre, for structure Roman, for decorations of paint and gilding gay as the Asiatic. In the middle, a magnificent orchestra rises to the roof, from which descend several large branches, which contain a great number of candles enclosed in crystal glasses."
Before long, Ranelagh had overtaken the Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens as the place to be seen in London. The writer Horace Walpole noted,
"Everybody goes there. My Lord Chesterfield is so fond of it that he says he's ordered all his letters to be directed thither, and you can't set your foot without treading on a Prince of Wales or a Duke of Cumberland."
Many visitors were perfectly happy to spend their time perambulating around the gardens, which were, like the private boxes inside the rotunda, a noted spot for romantic assignations. But Ranelagh was also famous for its music. All the great stars of the 18th century performed there. The composer of Rule Britannia, Thomas Arne, was a regular, while in 1764 a 9-year-old Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart astonished the audience with his skills on the harpsichord and organ. Other entertainments included masquerades, firework displays, an artificial volcano dubbed Mount Etna, and even a balloon launch, while special events were often put on to mark occasions such as peace treaties and royal births. In 1789, a gala staged to celebrate the recovery of George III from illness saw most of the royal family descend on the gardens, accompanied by more than 100 footmen and servants. Charitable work has always been a central part of what we do here at the hospital, so it's gratifying to learn that events were also staged in the gardens to raise funds for hospitals, to help the victims of hurricanes, and even to provide money for the widows and orphans of those killed in Nelson's victory over the French at the Nile in 1798. All good things come to an end, and Ranelagh was no exception. As the 18th century drew to a close, it began to acquire a reputation for immorality and vice. Its popularity, among genteel society at least, began to wane, and in 1803 it opened its doors for the final time. 2 years later, both Ranelagh House and the Rotunda were completely demolished, and the spot where thousands came to marvel at one of London's most extraordinary buildings is now marked by a simple summer house. Even so, despite its disreputable association, the gardens that now sit on the site of the Rotunda still bear the name of Ranelagh to this day.